Do you have a bucket list? You know, that list of dream locations you promised yourself you'd see before you die? Well, get a pen ready, because today we are adding some serious contenders to it. We aren't just talking about regular vacation spots. We're talking about UNESCO World Heritage Sites. So, what does that mean? Basically, these are places so special, so beautiful, or so historically important that the entire world has agreed we need to protect this forever. These are the best of the best. From ancient cities lost in the jungle to natural wonders that look like they belong on another planet, we are taking you on a journey around the globe to rank the 45 UNESCO sites you absolutely need to visit. This is going to be the ultimate travel guide. So, hit that subscribe button right now to join the adventure, and let's get the countdown started. Number 45. The Works of Antoni Gaudí, Barcelona, Spain. Starting our countdown at number 45, we are heading to the vibrant city of Barcelona, Spain. This isn't just a city, it's an open-air museum dedicated to one man's wild imagination, Antoni Gaudí. Gaudí famously said that there are no straight lines in nature, so he didn't use them in his buildings either. Instead, you get waving walls, colorful mosaic tiles, and shapes that look like melting ice cream or dragon scales. Your first stop has to be the Sagrada Familia. This isn't just a church, it is an absolute masterpiece that has been under construction for over 140 years. When you step inside, the stone columns branch out like giant trees, and the light from the stained glass windows paints the floor in rainbows. It feels more like a magical forest than a building. Then there is Park Güell, a public park that feels like a gingerbread village, and Casa Batlló, a house that looks like it's made of bones and skulls. Seeing Gaudí's work in person reminds you that the world can be a colorful, creative, and magical place. It is a perfect start to our bucket list. Number 44. Mesa Verde National Park, USA. For number 44, we are jumping across the Atlantic Ocean to the rugged landscapes of Colorado in the USA. Welcome to Mesa Verde National Park. At first glance, this might look like just another beautiful nature park with canyons and green trees, but look a little closer at the cliff edges, and you will see something mind-blowing. Tucked securely under the overhanging rocks are entire villages made of stone. These are the famous cliff dwellings built by the ancestral Pueblo people over 700 years ago. The most famous spot here is called Cliff Palace, which has over 150 rooms and 23 kivas used for ceremonies. It is basically an ancient apartment complex built right into the side of a mountain. What makes this place so special and a little spooky is the mystery behind it. These people built incredible homes without modern machines or heavy equipment, lived here for generations, and then suddenly left. Walking through these silent ruins today, you can almost feel their presence. It is a hauntingly beautiful look into a lost civilization, and it is definitely a place you need to see with your own eyes. Number 43. Abu Simbel Temples, Egypt. At number 43, we are traveling to the deserts of Egypt. You might be thinking about the pyramids, but deep in the south stands something just as impressive, the Abu Simbel Temples. This place is all about ego and power. It was built over 3,000 years ago by King Ramses II, who wanted to make sure his enemies knew exactly who was boss. The entrance is guarded by 4 gigantic statues of the king himself, sitting on a throne. They are over 60 feet tall. Standing next to them, you feel like an ant. But here's the crazy part that makes this a true UNESCO legend. The temple you see today isn't in its original spot. In the 1960s, a new dam threatened to flood the entire site underwater, so the world came together in an epic rescue mission. Engineers literally cut the entire mountain and temple into huge blocks, like a giant 3D puzzle, and moved it to higher ground, piece by piece. It was one of the greatest engineering feats in history. So when you visit Abu Simbel, you are actually looking at two miracles, one ancient and one modern. Number 42, Meteora, Greece. Number 42 takes us to Greece, but forget about the white sandy beaches and blue ocean for a moment. We are heading inland to a place that looks like it belongs in a fantasy movie, Meteora. The name Meteora literally means suspended in the air, and when you see it, you will understand why. Massive pillars of rock rise hundreds of feet into the sky, dominating the landscape. But the rocks aren't even the craziest part. Look at the very top of these cliffs. Those are actual monasteries. Centuries ago, monks wanted to be as close to God as possible and safe from invaders, so they built their homes on these vertical cliffs. The only way up used to be climbing long ladders or being pulled up in a net basket by a rope. It was terrifying. Today, visiting is a little easier. There are stairs cut into the rock, but it is still a workout. Once you reach the top, the view is absolutely breathtaking. Seeing these ancient buildings balancing on the edge of the abyss makes Meteora one of the most photogenic and spiritual places on the planet. Number 41, Plitvice Lakes National Park, Croatia. At number 41, we're in Croatia, visiting a place that honestly looks like a fairy tale come to life. This is Plitvice Lakes National Park, and trust me, you don't need any Instagram filters here. Imagine 16 separate lakes arranged in steps like a grand staircase made of water. The water flows from the top lakes down to the bottom ones, creating over 90 cascading waterfalls along the way. The sound of rushing water is everywhere. But the real magic is the color. The water isn't just blue. It changes constantly from emerald green to deep azure to bright turquoise. It depends on the sunlight and the minerals in the water. It is so incredibly clear that you can see every rock and fish swimming right under the surface. The best part is how you explore it. You don't just watch from a distance. You walk on wooden boardwalks that hover right over the lakes and cross right in front of the waterfalls. You can literally feel the cool mist on your face. It is peaceful, vibrant, and easily one of the most beautiful nature walks on Earth. Number 40. Archaeological areas of Pompeii, Italy. At number 40, we are in Italy for a history lesson that will give you goosebumps. Welcome to Pompeii. You have probably heard the story. Back in 79 AD, the massive volcano Mount Vesuvius erupted and buried this entire Roman city under tons of thick, hot ash. It was a terrible tragedy. But that ash did something incredible. It froze the city in time. Visiting Pompeii today isn't like looking at normal ruins. You are literally walking through a city exactly as it was 2,000 years ago. You can walk down the streets and see the grooves left by chariot wheels. You can step into a bakery and see the ovens, or walk into a wealthy person's house and still see the bright paintings on the walls. But the most unforgettable part is seeing the plaster casts of the people who lived here. You can see their expressions and their body language in their final moments. It is a haunting, emotional, and fascinating experience that connects you to the past in a way no history book ever could. Number 39, Canadian Rocky Mountain Parks, Canada. For number 39, we are heading north to Canada for some of the freshest air you will ever breathe. Welcome to the Canadian Rocky Mountain Parks. This UNESCO site is actually a collection of national parks, including the famous Banff and Jasper. If you were to draw a picture of the perfect mountain landscape, it would look exactly like this. The peaks are jagged, massive, and covered in snow, but the real showstoppers here are the lakes. Places like Lake Louise and Moraine Lake have water so bright turquoise, it looks like someone poured blue Gatorade into the valley. That crazy color comes from rock flour created by glaciers grinding against the bedrock. You also have to drive the Icefields Parkway, which connects the parks. It is often voted the most beautiful drive in the world. You are cruising past massive glaciers and waterfalls right out your car window. Plus, keep your eyes peeled because this is true wilderness. It is very common to see elk, moose, or even a grizzly bear wandering near the road. If you love nature, this place is basically heaven on earth. Number 38, Pamukkale, Turkey. At number 38, we are going to Turkey for a place that looks like it belongs on another planet. This is Pamukkale, which translates to Cotton Castle, and the name fits perfectly. When you first see it from a distance, you will swear you're looking at a snowy mountain or a pile of fluffy clouds. But that white stuff isn't snow, it is rock. For thousands of years, mineral-rich hot springs have spilled down the mountain, leaving behind white limestone that forms natural pools. These pools are filled with warm, icy blue water. To visit the terraces, you have to take your shoes off to keep the white stone clean. Walking barefoot through the warm water while looking out over the valley is an experience you will never forget. But there's a bonus. Right at the top of the hill sits the ancient Roman city of Hierapolis. The Romans loved a spa day, so they built a city right here. You can even pay a little extra to swim in the famous antique pool, where you are literally paddling over fallen Roman columns and marble ruins submerged in the water. It is the coolest history lesson you will ever have. Number 37, Old Havana, Cuba. At number 37, we are heading to the Caribbean to visit a city that feels like a living time capsule, Old Havana in Cuba. Stepping into this city is like walking onto a movie set from the 1950s. The first thing you notice is the cars, brightly colored vintage American classics rolling down the streets. But the real treasure here is the architecture. Old Havana was founded by the Spanish way back in 1519, and it is packed with beautiful Baroque and neoclassical buildings. It's a place of contrasts. You'll see perfectly restored palaces right next to buildings that are crumbling and faded, but that is exactly what gives Havana its soul. It feels real and lived in. But what makes this place truly special isn't just the buildings, it's the energy. Walking through the 5 main plazas, you hear salsa music spilling out of open windows and cafes. The streets are alive with art, history, and people. It's colorful, chaotic, and completely captivating. A walk through Old Havana isn't just sightseeing, it's feeling the heartbeat of Cuba. Number 36. Los Glaciares National Park. For number 36, we're traveling to the bottom of the world, deep into Argentine Patagonia. This is Los Glaciares National Park, and as the name suggests, this place is all about the ice. This park is home to the famous Perito Moreno Glacier. Most glaciers in the world are hard to reach, but here, you can walk on convenient metal balconies that take you right up to the face of the ice wall. It is absolutely massive, about 3 miles wide and towering 200 feet above the water. But you don't just look at it, you listen to it. The glacier is constantly moving and cracking. If you're lucky, you will witness calving, which is when house-sized chunks of blue ice break off and crash into the lake below. The sound is like thunder. If you love hiking, you also have Mount Fitzroy in the northern part of the park. Its jagged, shark-toothed skyline is iconic. Whether you are trekking the trails or watching the ice crash, this place reminds you just how powerful nature really is. Number 35. The Pitons, St. Lucia. At number 35, pack your swimsuit because we are flying to the Caribbean island of St. Lucia. This isn't just another beach destination, it is home to the Pitons, two of the most famous mountains on the planet. You have probably seen them in photos, but seeing them in real life is a whole different ballgame. These twin volcanic peaks, named Gros Piton and Petit Piton, shoot straight up from the turquoise ocean to over 2,000 feet in the sky. Unlike regular Rocky Mountains, these are covered in a thick emerald green rainforest, making them look like something straight out of Jurassic Park. If you are feeling brave, you can hike to the top of Gros Piton. It is a tough, sweaty climb that takes a few hours, but standing on the summit with the wind in your hair and the whole island below you is a bucket list moment. But honestly, you don't have to climb them to appreciate them. Taking a boat ride around the base or simply relaxing on Sugar Beach right between the two peaks offers a view that is just as spectacular. It is dramatic, beautiful, and totally unforgettable. Number 34. Giant's Causeway, Northern Ireland. At number 34, we're heading to the rugged coast of Northern Ireland for a geological mystery called the Giant's Causeway. When you first see this place, your brain might have trouble accepting it's natural. It looks like a giant, unfinished jigsaw puzzle made of stone. There are about 40,000 interlocking black basalt columns here, and almost all of them are perfect hexagons. They fit together so tightly, you can't even slide a piece of paper between them. So how did they get here? Well, there are two stories. The science says that 60 million years ago, a volcano erupted, and as the lava cooled rapidly, it cracked into these geometric shapes, kind of like how mud cracks when it dries in the sun. But the locals have a better story. Legend says an Irish giant named Finn McCool built this causeway as a bridge to cross the sea and fight a Scottish giant. Whether you believe the geology or the myth, jumping from stone to stone with the cold ocean spray hitting your face is one of the most fun adventures you can have in Europe. Number 33. Borobudur Temple Compounds, Indonesia. For number 33, we are heading to the lush island of Java in Indonesia to see the largest Buddhist temple in the world, Borobudur. This isn't just a temple, it is a colossal stone pyramid built without using a single drop of mortar or cement. It sits right in the middle of a green valley surrounded by volcanoes. Built in the 9th century, it was actually lost and hidden under volcanic ash and thick jungle for hundreds of years before being rediscovered. The design is incredible. It represents the path to enlightenment. As you hike up the levels, you pass over 2,500 intricate relief panels carved into the walls. But the real magic happens at the very top. Here, you will find 72 perforated bell-shaped stupas. If you peek inside the holes, you'll see a statue of Buddha seated peacefully inside each one. The absolute best time to visit is at sunrise. Sitting on top of this ancient monument, watching the mist clear over the jungle as the sun lights up the stone faces of the Buddhas, it is a spiritual experience that gives you chills. It is peaceful, powerful, and utterly perfect. Number 32. Ancient City of Sigiriya, Sri Lanka. Number 32 brings us to Sri Lanka for one of the most dramatic building projects in history, Sigiriya, also known as the Lion Rock. Imagine a massive 600-foot-high block of granite sitting alone in the middle of a flat jungle. Now, imagine deciding to build a swimming pool and a palace on top of it. That is exactly what King Kashyapa did in the 5th century. The story goes that the king killed his father and was afraid his brother would come for revenge. So he built this fortress in the sky where no one could touch him. To get to the top, you have to climb about 1,200 steps. It is a bit of a workout, but the entrance is mind-blowing. You walk through 2 gigantic stone paws, the remains of a massive brick lion that used to guard the staircase. Reverently, halfway up, you'll see ancient, colorful paintings of women known as the Sigiriya maidens on the rock face. Once you reach the flat summit, you are standing among the ruins of the ancient palace with a 360-degree view of the jungle below. It is the ultimate penthouse with a view. Number 31. Hiroshima Peace Memorial, Japan. At number 31, we are traveling to Japan. This isn't a place you visit for fun, but for deep reflection. This is the Hiroshima Peace Memorial, also known as the Atomic Bomb Dome. On August 6, 1945, the first atomic bomb used in war exploded right over this city. The devastation was total. Yet, amidst the rubble, the steel skeleton of this one building remained standing near the hypocenter. Instead of tearing it down or fixing it, the people of Hiroshima decided to keep it exactly as it looked that day. It stands as a haunting, powerful reminder of the destructive power of humanity. But despite the tragic history, the park surrounding it is incredibly peaceful and full of hope. You will see the Children's Peace Monument, which is always draped in thousands of colorful paper cranes sent by children from all over the world. They honor Sadako, a young girl who tried to fold 1,000 cranes to grant a wish for life. Visiting here changes you. It is a heavy experience, but it leaves you with a powerful message: never again. Number 30. Old City of Dubrovnik, Croatia. At number 30, we are back in Croatia to visit the Pearl of the Adriatic, Dubrovnik. If this city looks familiar, you are probably a Game of Thrones fan. Yes, this is the real-life King's Landing. But even if you have never seen the show, this place will blow your mind. Dubrovnik is one of the best preserved medieval walled cities in the world. The massive stone walls completely surround the old town, and the number one thing you have to do here is walk on top of them. The walk is about a mile long, and the views are unbeatable. On one side, you have the shimmering blue ocean crashing against the cliffs, and on the other, a sea of bright orange tiled roofs. Inside the walls, the main street, called the Stradun, is paved with limestone that has been polished by millions of footsteps over centuries. It is so smooth and shiny, it actually looks like water or ice. Whether you're exploring the narrow alleyways or jumping off the cliffs into the sea at a bougie bar, Dubrovnik feels like a kingdom made of stone and light. Number 29. Historic Center of Prague, Czech Republic. At number 29, we are landing in the heart of Europe, Prague in the Czech Republic. If you want to feel like you are walking through a real-life fairy tale, this is the place. They call it the City of 100 Spires, and looking at the skyline, you can see why. Sharp Gothic towers rise up everywhere. Because Prague escaped most of the destruction during World War II, the architecture is incredibly well preserved. It is a perfect mix of dark, moody Gothic buildings and colorful Baroque palaces. You cannot visit Prague without walking across the famous Charles Bridge. It's lined with dark statues of saints, and if you go at sunrise when the mist is rising off the river, it is pure magic. Then, head to the Old Town Square to see the astronomical clock. It's 600 years old and still ticking. Every hour, crowds gather to watch the little mechanical skeleton ring the bell. And don't forget to look up at the hill. That is Prague Castle, the largest ancient castle complex in the world. With its cobblestone streets and romantic vibe, Prague is simply enchanting. Number 28. Rapa Nui National Park, Easter Island, Chile. For number 28, we are traveling further than almost anyone else on this list. Welcome to Rapa Nui, also known as Easter Island. It is the most remote inhabited island on the planet, sitting all alone in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. But you don't come here just for the isolation. You come for the moai. You know them, the giant stone heads with the serious expressions. But did you know they actually have full bodies buried underground? There are nearly 900 of these massive statues dotted all over the island. Some stand proudly in rows on stone platforms, while others are scattered on the hillsides, looking like they were just abandoned yesterday. The biggest mystery is how they got there. These stones weigh up to 80 tons. The ancient Rapa Nui people carved them out of a volcano crater and moved them miles across the island without wheels or cranes. Walking among these silent giants is eerie and humbling. It is a place full of secrets, and standing in front of them, thousands of miles from the rest of the world, is a feeling you can't explain. You just have to feel it. Number 27, Mont-Saint-Michel, France. Number 27 takes us to the coast of France for a site that defies logic. Welcome to Mont-Saint-Michel. From a distance, it looks like a castle from a fairy tale floating on the sea. But this gravity-defying structure is actually an ancient abbey perched on a rocky islet. The architecture is a miracle, with buildings stacked on top of each other, reaching up to the needle-sharp spire at the top. The magic here is all about the tides. For centuries, this place played a game of hide-and-seek with the mainland. At low tide, pilgrims could walk across the sand to reach the gates. But at high tide, the ocean rushes in. At the speed of a galloping horse, legend says, completely surrounding the rock and turning it into an island. Once you step inside the walls, it is pure medieval magic. You will wind your way up through narrow, spiraling streets lined with old shops and taverns. It feels a bit like walking through Harry Potter's Diagon Alley. The climb to the abbey at the very top is a steep workout, but standing on the terrace, looking out over the endless bay, makes you feel like the king of the world. Number 26, Ha Long Bay, Vietnam. Backtracking slightly to number 26, we are in Vietnam for a place that feels like a painting come to life, Ha Long Bay. Imagine a calm, emerald green sea dotted with over 1,600 massive limestone islands topped with thick rainforests. Some are hollow with enormous caves hidden inside, and others are just tall, jagged pillars shooting straight up from the water. The name Ha Long translates to descending dragon. Legend says that a family of dragons came down from the heavens and spat out jewels and jade, which turned into these islands to protect the land from invaders. When you see the islands stretching out into the horizon, they really do look like the spine of a sleeping dragon. The best way to see it is by sleeping on a traditional boat called a junk. Waking up in the middle of the bay, surrounded by silence and mist, is pure magic. You can kayak through hidden lagoons, explore giant caves, or just sit on the deck and watch the scenery float by. It is peaceful, mysterious, and incredibly beautiful. Number 25, Rio de Janeiro, Christ the Redeemer, Brazil. At number 25, we are flying down to Brazil to visit the marvelous city, Rio de Janeiro. There are beautiful cities, and then there is Rio. UNESCO didn't just list a building here. They recognized the entire landscape because of the incredible way the city blends with the mountains and the sea. The crown jewel, of course, is Christ the Redeemer. Standing 98 feet tall with his arms spread wide, he stands atop the Corcovado mountain, watching over the city. You've seen photos, but standing at the base of the statue is a spiritual experience. The statue is huge, but the view is even bigger. From up there, you can see everything. The peculiar shape of Sugarloaf Mountain, the deep blue Atlantic Ocean, and the famous white curves of Copacabana and Ipanema beaches. But Rio is more than just a view, it is a vibe. It is one of the only places in the world where a dense, bustling metropolis grows right out of a tropical rainforest. Whether you are up in the clouds with the statue or down on the beach with a coconut, Rio's energy is unmatched. Number 24. Göreme National Park / Cappadocia, Turkey. Number 24 brings us back to Turkey, but this time to a place that looks like it was designed for a fantasy movie. Welcome to Cappadocia. This landscape is famous for its fairy chimneys, tall, cone-shaped rock towers that cover the valley floor. But the coolest part isn't just looking at the rocks, it's looking inside them. The rock here is soft, so for thousands of years, people carved their entire lives into the stone. We are talking about homes, massive churches with beautiful frescoes, and even entire underground cities that go nearly 300 feet deep. You can literally sleep in a boutique hotel room that was carved out of a cave centuries ago. But the absolute number one thing to do here is the hot air balloon ride. Every morning at sunrise, hundreds of balloons take flight at the same time. Drifting silently over this honeycomb landscape while the sun turns the rocks pink and orange is one of the most magical travel experiences you can ever have. It is surreal, beautiful, and completely unforgettable. Number 23. Historic Kyoto, Japan. At number 23, we are hopping over to Japan. If Tokyo is the country's modern, neon brain, then Kyoto is its traditional soul. For over 1,000 years, this was the capital of Japan, and it's where you go to see what old Japan really looked like. The sheer number of temples here is overwhelming. There are over 1,600 of them. The superstar is definitely Kinkakuji, or the Golden Pavilion. It is a Zen temple where the top 2 floors are completely covered in real gold leaf. Seeing it shimmer across the calm mirror pond is stunning. But you can't talk about Kyoto without mentioning Fushimi Inari Taisha. You have seen the photos. Thousands of bright orange gates forming a tunnel up the mountain. Walking through them feels like entering a different dimension. And then there is the Gion district. If you're lucky, you might spot a real geisha or maiko in her kimono walking to an appointment. Between the bamboo forests, the wooden tea houses, and the quiet gardens, Kyoto feels less like a city and more like a living painting. Number 22. The Forbidden City, China. At number 22, we are in Beijing, China, standing in front of the ultimate symbol of imperial power, the Forbidden City. This isn't just a palace, it is a city within a city. For 500 years, this was the home of the emperor and the political center of China. It is the largest ancient palace complex in the world, covering over 178 acres. Why forbidden? Well, for centuries, regular people like us weren't allowed anywhere near it. If you tried to enter without an invitation from the emperor, you wouldn't just be kicked out, you would be executed. The scale here is mind-blowing. Legend says there are 9,999.5 rooms inside, because only heaven was allowed to have a perfect 10,000. Everywhere you look, you see red walls and golden yellow roofs, which were colors reserved only for the royal family. Walking through the massive courtyards today, you feel tiny. You can almost imagine the thousands of soldiers and officials standing in perfect formation. It is a place designed to make you feel the sheer power of the emperor, and honestly, it still works. Number 21, Victoria Falls, Zambia, Zimbabwe. Number 21 takes us to the border of Zambia and Zimbabwe for a display of raw nature, Victoria Falls. The locals have the perfect name for it, Mosio Atunya, which means the smoke that thunders. And trust me, it lives up to the name. Long before you even see the water, you hear a roar like 1,000 thunderstorms, and you see a massive cloud of mist rising hundreds of feet into the air. While it isn't the highest or the widest waterfall on Earth, it is considered the largest based on the massive sheet of water that falls every second. It is over a mile wide. Walking the trails here is an adventure. You are constantly walking through a rain created by the spray, so you will get soaked, but the sight of permanent rainbows arcing over the canyon is worth it. For the adrenaline junkies, there is the famous Devil's Pool. In the dry season, you can actually swim in a rock pool right at the very edge of the 350-foot drop. Peering over the edge while the river rushes past you? That is a heartbeat moment you will never forget. Number 20. Iguazu Falls, Argentina, Brazil. At number 20, we're staying with the theme of massive waterfalls, but moving over to the border of Argentina and Brazil. Welcome to Iguazu Falls. If Victoria Falls is a single massive curtain of water, Iguazu is a chaotic, beautiful network of 275 separate waterfalls stretching over nearly 2 miles. When Eleanor Roosevelt first saw this, she reportedly looked at the American falls and said, "Poor Niagara." The star of the show here is the Devil's Throat. It is a U-shaped chasm where half of the river's water pours down at once. The sound is deafening, and the spray is so thick you can hardly see the bottom. Standing on the walkway right above it feels like staring into the center of the earth. You really need to visit both sides. The Brazilian side gives you the grand panoramic views, perfect for photos, while the Argentine side has trails that take you right into the jungle and on top of the water. Whether you are walking the catwalks or taking a boat ride directly under the falls for a jungle shower, Iguazu is pure, raw power. Number 19. Sydney Opera House, Australia. At number 19, we are heading down under to the most famous building in the Southern Hemisphere, the Sydney Opera House. You have seen this shape a million times on postcards and in movies. Some say it looks like white sails on a ship. Others say it looks like stacked seashells. Whatever you see, it is undeniable that this building defines Australia. What is crazy is that when the Danish architect Jørn Utzon designed it in the 1950s, the technology to build it didn't even exist yet. It was a massive engineering gamble that went way over budget, but the result was a masterpiece that changed modern architecture forever. Here's a detail most people miss until they get close. The roof isn't just smooth white concrete. It is actually covered in over 1 million tiny cream and white tiles. They sparkle in the sun and give the building a texture you can't see from photos. You can take a tour inside to see the massive concert halls, but honestly, the best vibe is grabbing a drink at the opera bar outside, watching the ferries go by with the harbor bridge right next to you. It is iconic. Number 18. Bagan, Myanmar. At number 18, we are going to Myanmar for a site that feels like a dream, the ancient city of Bagan. If you thought Angkor Wat was big, wait until you see this. Imagine a vast green plain stretching as far as the eye can see, dotted with over 2,200 ancient temples, stupas, and monasteries. It looks less like a city and more like a forest made of brick and stone. Between the 11th and 13th centuries, the kings here went on a building spree, constructing over 10,000 temples. Today, only a couple of thousand remain, but the scale is still hard to comprehend. The magic of Bagan is in the exploration. You can rent a quiet electric scooter and just drive down dusty dirt paths, discovering hidden ruins where you might be the only person around. It feels like exploring a lost world. But the ultimate bucket list moment is the sunrise. Watching the sun come up through the mist, revealing the silhouettes of the temples while hot air balloons float silently overhead. It is peaceful, it is spiritual, and it is arguably the best sunrise view on planet Earth. Number 17. Vatican City. At number 17, we are visiting a country so small you can walk across it in 20 minutes. Welcome to Vatican City. Located right in the middle of Rome, this is the smallest country in the world, but don't let the size fool you. It holds enough art and history to fill a continent. It is the headquarters of the Catholic Church and the home of the Pope. The centerpiece is St. Peter's Basilica. It is one of the largest churches on Earth, and the inside is mind-blowing. Gold, marble, and massive statues everywhere. You can even climb up to the top of Michelangelo's dome for the best view of Rome. Speaking of Michelangelo, you have to visit the Vatican Museums. It is miles of galleries leading up to the main event, the Sistine Chapel. Michelangelo spent 4 years painting this ceiling while lying on his back. Standing there in silence, looking up at the creation of Adam is a moment of pure awe. And a fun fact, keep an eye out for the Swiss Guard. They are the Pope's personal army, and yes, they still wear those bright blue, red, and yellow Renaissance-style uniforms. Number 16. Stonehenge, United Kingdom. At number 16, we are in the English countryside for the world's most famous prehistoric mystery, Stonehenge. At first glance, it looks like just a pile of big rocks in a field. But when you realize what you are looking at, it blows your mind. This stone circle is around 5,000 years old. That is older than the pyramids of Egypt. The big mystery here isn't just why it was built, but how. Some of these massive sarsen stones weigh as much as 30 tons. Even crazier, the smaller blue stones were dragged all the way from Wales, over 150 miles away. Remember, these people didn't have the wheel or cranes. It is an engineering miracle that still baffles scientists today. So what is it? A temple? A burial ground? An ancient calendar? We know for sure that it aligns perfectly with the sun. If you stand here on the summer solstice, the sun rises exactly over the heel stone. Usually, you have to stay behind a rope to protect the ground, but even from a distance, standing in the presence of something so old and mysterious is a hauntingly beautiful experience. Number 15. Chichen Itza, Mexico. Number 15 takes us to the Yucatan jungle in Mexico for one of the new 7 wonders of the world, Chichen Itza. This ancient Mayan city was a powerhouse of trade and religion. The star of the show is El Castillo, the massive pyramid right in the center. It is actually a giant 365-step calendar made of stone. Here is the coolest part. Twice a year during the equinox, the setting sun casts a shadow on the steps that looks exactly like a giant serpent slithering down the pyramid. It is a brilliant trick of engineering and astronomy. When you visit, you'll see people standing in front of the pyramid clapping their hands. Why? Because the acoustics are so perfect that the echo sounds exactly like the chirp of the sacred Quetzal bird. It is mind-blowing. But Chichen Itza has a dark side too. You can visit the Great Ball Court, where the Maya played a game with a heavy rubber ball. The stakes were high. Losers, or sometimes winners, historians aren't sure, were often sacrificed. It's a place where genius and brutality lived side by side. Number 14. Yellowstone National Park, USA. At number 14, we are heading to the American West for the granddaddy of them all. This is the world's very first national park, Yellowstone. This place is literally a ticking time bomb in the most beautiful way possible. The entire park sits on top of a massive sleeping supervolcano. That heat below the ground is why Yellowstone has over 10,000 thermal features. It is like walking on the crust of a boiling pot. You have to see Old Faithful, the geyser that shoots boiling water high into the air like clockwork. But the real showstopper is the Grand Prismatic Spring. It looks like a giant rainbow eye staring up at the sky, with rings of bright orange, yellow, and green bacteria created by the heat. But Yellowstone isn't just about rocks and water. It is often called the American Serengeti. It is the best place in the US to see wildlife. You will almost definitely get stuck in a bison jam where hundreds of buffalo block the road. If you're lucky, you might spot grizzly bears or hear wolves howling at dawn. It's wild, unpredictable, and totally alive. Number 13. Venice and its lagoon, Italy. At number 13, we are floating into the most impossible city on Earth, Venice, Italy. Forget everything you know about city life. There are no cars here, no trucks, and no roads. Just 118 tiny islands connected by over 400 bridges and a maze of canals. It is a place where you take a boat to work, a boat to school, and yes, even a boat to the hospital. The heart of the city is St. Mark's Square, often called the drawing room of Europe. It is grand, chaotic, and beautiful. But the real joy of Venice is leaving the map behind and getting completely lost. You'll stumble upon quiet plazas, hidden mask shops, and tiny restaurants serving the best seafood of your life. But Venice is also fragile. It was built centuries ago on wooden stakes driven into the mud, and it is slowly sinking while the sea level rises. This gives the city a bittersweet, romantic feeling. It is a masterpiece that is fighting to survive against the water, making it a place you truly need to see now, before it changes forever. Number 12. Acropolis of Athens, Greece. At number 12, we are traveling to the cradle of Western civilization, Athens, Greece. Standing watch over the city is the legendary Acropolis. The word Acropolis means high city, and for ancient Greeks, this was the most sacred spot in town. It is visible from almost everywhere in Athens, a constant reminder of the city's golden age. The superstar here is the Parthenon. It was built almost 2,500 years ago as a temple to the goddess Athena. Despite being blown up, looted, and battered by pollution over the centuries, it is still standing. It is considered the most perfect building ever built because of its architectural tricks. There are actually no straight lines in the entire building. But there's more than just the Parthenon. You'll see the Erechtheion, famous for the Porch of the Maidens, where 6 stone women hold up the roof instead of columns. Climbing up the rocky path to the top is a pilgrimage. When you stand there, looking out over the sprawling city with the Aegean Sea in the distance, you are standing in the exact birthplace of democracy, philosophy, and theater. It's history you can touch. Number 11. Serengeti National Park, Tanzania. At number 11, we are heading to Tanzania for the greatest wildlife show on Earth. Welcome to the Serengeti. The name comes from the Maasai word meaning endless plains, and when you get here, you realize how perfect that is. The grass seems to go on forever. But the main reason this place is legendary is the Great Migration. Imagine nearly 2 million wildebeest, zebras, and gazelles moving together in a giant loop, chasing the rain and fresh grass. It is the largest movement of animals on the planet. The ground literally shakes when the herds gallop past. But where there is prey, there are predators. The Serengeti has one of the highest concentrations of lions, cheetahs, and leopards in the world. You might see a cheetah sprinting at 70 miles per hour, or a pride of lions lazying on a rock, just like in The Lion King. Watching the drama of life and death play out right in front of your safari jeep is intense, emotional, and raw. This isn't a zoo, it is nature completely unscripted. Number 10. Galapagos Islands, Ecuador. We are cracking the top 10. And at number 10, we're going to a place that changed science forever, the Galapagos Islands in Ecuador. This remote group of volcanic islands is a living laboratory of evolution. Because they are so isolated, the animals here developed in weird and wonderful ways found nowhere else on Earth. The crazy thing about visiting the Galapagos is that the animals have absolutely no fear of humans. You can snorkel while sea lions play tag with your fins. You can walk past marine iguanas, the only lizards in the world that swim in the ocean, sunning themselves on black lava rocks. And of course, you will meet the giants, the Galapagos tortoises. These guys can weigh 500 pounds and live for over 100 years. Oh, and keep an eye out for the blue-footed booby. Yes, that is its real name, and yes, its feet are actually bright Smurf blue. It is one of the few places left where you feel like a guest in the animal's world, not the other way around. It is a true wildlife paradise. Number 9. Historic Center of Rome and Colosseum, Italy. At number 9, all roads lead to Rome. This isn't just a city, it is an open-air museum where you can trip over a 2,000-year-old column while eating your gelato. The superstar is, without a doubt, the Colosseum. It is the largest amphitheater ever built. Just standing outside it is impressive, but you have to go inside. Close your eyes and imagine 50,000 screaming Romans cheering for gladiators fighting lions. It was brutal, bloody, and the center of entertainment for the empire. But Rome doesn't stop there. Just down the street is the Roman Forum, the downtown of ancient Rome where Julius Caesar once walked. Then you have the Pantheon, a temple with a massive concrete dome that is still the largest unreinforced concrete dome in the world 2,000 years later. And don't forget the Trevi Fountain. Legend says if you throw a coin over your left shoulder, you will return to Rome one day. It is chaotic, loud, and incredibly beautiful. Rome is the eternal city for a reason. It simply never gets old. Number 8. Grand Canyon National Park, USA. At number 8, we are back in the USA for a natural wonder that defies description, the Grand Canyon. People jokingly say it's just a big hole in the ground, but that is like saying the ocean is just a puddle. Nothing, and I mean nothing, prepares you for the sheer scale of this place. It is over a mile deep, up to 18 miles wide, and stretches for 277 miles. When you stand on the rim and look out, your brain almost can't process it. It looks like a flat painting because it is just too big to be real. Down at the bottom, the Colorado River has spent the last 6 million years carving through the rock. The result is a canyon that reveals nearly 2 billion years of Earth's history in its colorful layers. It is a geological time machine. Whether you are hiking the Bright Angel Trail, rafting the rapids, or just watching the sunset turn the rocks into burning shades of red and purple, the Grand Canyon makes you feel tiny and humble. It is nature showing off in the biggest way possible. Number 7. Petra, Jordan. At number 7, we are traveling to the deserts of Jordan to uncover a lost city, Petra. You might know it from Indiana Jones, but seeing the Rose City in real life is infinitely better. The adventure starts with the entrance. You don't just walk up to it, you have to walk through the Seek. It is a narrow, winding canyon with towering cliffs that block out the sun. You walk for about a mile, the suspense building with every step until the rocks suddenly open up to reveal the treasury, Al-Khazne. It is a massive, intricate temple carved directly into the sheer pink sandstone cliff. That first glimpse is one of the greatest reveal moments in travel history. But Petra isn't just one building. It was a bustling city built by the Nabateans 2,000 years ago. It is huge. You can explore hundreds of royal tombs, a Roman-style theater, and, if you have the energy, hike 800 steps up the mountain to see the monastery. It's bigger than the treasury, and the view from up there is out of this world. Number 6. Angkor Wat, Cambodia. At number 6, we are in Cambodia to visit the largest religious monument in the world, Angkor Wat. When you first see it, the scale is hard to believe. It was built in the 12th century as a Hindu temple and later became Buddhist. It was designed to represent Mount Meru, the home of the gods, and the massive moat around it represents the cosmic ocean. But the Angkor Park is way more than just the main temple. You have to visit Bayon Temple, where 216 giant stone faces smile down at you from the towers. It is eerie and beautiful at the same time. And then there is Ta Prohm, the Tomb Raider Temple. Here, the jungle has taken over. Massive silk cotton trees grow right out of the ruins, their roots wrapping around the stones like giant snakes. It shows you that no matter what humans build, nature eventually reclaims it. Watching the sunrise over the lotus towers of Angkor Wat is a spiritual experience. It is a masterpiece of human devotion and engineering that leaves you speechless. Number 5. Great Barrier Reef, Australia. We are in the top 5. And for number 5, we are heading back to Australia for the only living thing on Earth visible from space, the Great Barrier Reef. This isn't just a reef. It is the world's largest coral reef system, stretching over 1,400 miles. That is roughly the same size as Italy or Germany. It is home to thousands of reefs and hundreds of islands. Putting on a mask and diving in here is like jumping into a high-definition aquarium. You're surrounded by over 1,500 species of fish. Think Nemo, Dory, and all their friends. You will see giant clams, graceful sea turtles, reef sharks, and humpback whales. But the real architects are the tiny coral polyps that built this underwater city over millions of years. It is a kaleidoscope of colors, neon blues, pinks, and purples. However, the reef is in danger from climate change and bleaching. Seeing it is a privilege, and it reminds us how fragile and precious our oceans are. It is a beautiful, breathing underwater world that we have to protect. Number 4. Pyramids of Giza, Egypt. At number 4, we are back in Egypt for the ultimate icon of the ancient world, the Pyramids of Giza. Of the original 7 wonders of the ancient world, this is the only one still standing. That is insane! They were built over 4,500 years ago. When the Romans were building the Colosseum, these pyramids were already ancient history. The Great Pyramid of Khufu is the big one. It was built with over 2 million stone blocks, some weighing as much as an elephant. How did they move them? How did they stack them so perfectly that you can't even slide a credit card between the stones? We still don't have all the answers. Guarding them is the Great Sphinx, a mythical creature with the body of a lion and the head of a human. It has been staring at the sunrise for thousands of years. Standing in their shadow, you feel the weight of history. It is a place that makes you wonder about the limits of human capability. It is mysterious, it is massive, and it is absolutely mandatory for any bucket list. Number 3. Taj Mahal, India. We've reached the top 3, and at number 3, we are in Agra, India, for the most beautiful building in the world, the Taj Mahal. You might think it is a palace, but it is actually a tomb, a heartbreakingly beautiful monument to love. Emperor Shah Jahan built it in the 17th century for his favorite wife, Mumtaz Mahal, after she passed away. He wanted to create something as beautiful as she was, and he definitely succeeded. The entire structure is made of translucent white marble that seems to glow, and it changes color. At sunrise, it looks pink. In the bright afternoon, it is blinding white, and under the moonlight, it turns a soft gold. When you get closer, you realize the walls aren't just painted. Those flowers you see are actually thousands of semi-precious stones like jade, crystal, and turquoise, inlaid directly into the marble. But the most satisfying part is the symmetry. Everything is perfectly mirrored. It is flawless. Honestly, photos really don't do it justice. Walking through the main gate and seeing that white dome floating in the mist is a moment that will stay with you forever. Number 2. Machu Picchu, Peru. At number 2, we are climbing high into the Andes Mountains of Peru to find the lost city of the Incas, Machu Picchu. This place was hidden from the outside world for centuries, buried under thick jungle until it was rediscovered in 1911. And thank goodness it was. The Incas built this city in the clouds back in the 15th century without wheels, iron tools, or mortar. Yet the stones fit together so perfectly that even 500 years of earthquakes haven't knocked them down. It is an engineering marvel. But the real magic is the location. It sits on a narrow ridge between two sharp mountain peaks, surrounded by vertical cliffs dropping down to the river. Clouds often drift right through the ruins, making it feel like a city floating in the sky. You can take the train, or if you're up for a challenge, hike the 4-day Inca Trail. Walking through the Sun Gate at dawn and seeing the mist clear to reveal the ancient city below is the ultimate travel reward. It is mystical, mysterious, and absolutely breathtaking. Number 1. The Great Wall of China. And here we are, the number 1 UNESCO World Heritage Site you need to visit before you die, the Great Wall of China. This isn't just a wall, it is a dragon made of stone and brick that winds its way over mountains and deserts for more than 13,000 miles. That is half the circumference of the Earth. It is the biggest thing humans have ever built. Walking on it feels surreal. You're standing on a structure that millions of people spent centuries building to protect their empire. Some parts near Beijing are restored and easy to walk, while wild sections are crumbling, overgrown, and steep, giving you a real adventure. A quick mythbuster, you can't actually see it from space with the naked eye. But that doesn't matter. When you are standing on a watchtower, looking at the walls stretching over the horizon endlessly in both directions, it feels infinite. It represents human endurance, history, and ambition on a scale that is impossible to comprehend until you're there. It is the ultimate travel experience and a deserving number 1 on our bucket list. That's it! 45 incredible places that prove just how beautiful our world is. How many have you visited, and which one is number 1 on your list? Let me know in the comments below. If this video inspired you to book a ticket, hit that like button and subscribe for more adventures. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.